So I have heard from other people that there is supposedly I think it's a little boy who appears sometimes there.
ASIJ, while happy, healthy, and vibrant on the surface, hides a darker, long-buried secret beneath its polished image. This is the Mustang Archive, where your hosts, Tyler and Yuma, dive deep into the rumors and mysteries that swirl through the halls of ASIJ. In today's episode, they uncover the chilling truth behind the school's infamous ghost, a lingering presence set to haunt those unlucky enough to encounter it.
I'm Tyler,
I'm Yuma.
and this is Mustang Archives, a podcast where we investigate the weirdest, wildest, and most whispered conspiracies at ASIJ.
Whether it's ghost rumors, secret teacher alliances, or student deaths being covered up, we're asking questions that no one else will.
Our first interview was with ASIJ's very own history teacher, Miss Kathy Kraut, a veteran of the school. She's been here long enough to know what most of us don't.
She's seen it all. Maybe even some things that shouldn't be seen.
So we asked her, what's real, what's a myth, and if there's anything this campus is hiding. Here's how it went. What's your name?
Kathy Krauth.
Do you consent to being interviewed right now?
Against my will, because I'm broken up with my advisory and Tyler's in my advisory, but yes.
Would you like to stay anonymous?
No.
Case...
What, I don't know what the topic is, so possibly.
Okay.
So a little bit about like what we're like kind of researching right now
Okay.
is basically we were intrigued by like maybe like some conspiracy theories
Okay.
about the school, and like we wanted like insight about like, because we know that you've been here for a very long time.
Yes.
So you've probably seen a lot of things.
I have seen a lot of
that
things.
are already here. So like we wanted to ask you if you like seen any like mysteries around the school, or like.
What do you mean, like mysteries? Give me more examples.
We heard recently about a ghost at SIJ, and then also a rumor about a student being crushed under the theater seats or something along those lines.
Okay, that never happened, and I haven't heard about a ghost. And actually, I would know about that. I'm kind of a ghost whisperer, so there's no ghost.
Do you know any rumors? Any suspicions?
Of things that are bad? I mean, I think if you believe in negative energy, there's probably some negative energy around some of the historical problems. What? Why are you laughing?
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, I'm just saying, the whole sexual abuse by a middle school teacher for many years, and the number of people, mostly men, who covered it up, and people who knew about it and things that they said. I think, there's got to be some negative things about it. And it did result in the person committing suicide.
Interesting.
Is it? Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like, it just, because it always happened here. It always happened here. And, there were people who saw middle school girls at Jack Moyer's house at like 6 a.m. in the morning and did nothing.
Interesting.
Is it interesting, or is it just wrong?
It is quite wrong.
It is quite wrong.
It is quite
and
wrong.
Then you don't do anything. Like what's going on in your mind? So, right.
But that's not even like a mystery, though. That's just like a solid.
It's not a mystery, but I think it would create some bad energy.
Oh, you think just like it created a bad rep?
No,
so, like,
no,
not
I
like
think
a bad
like
rep,
negative.
But it just increases ASIJ's negative energy.
Yeah. Or maybe on the campus energy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so you think
bad things happened? We didn't cleanse the space.
Oh, so now it just like lingers.
Yeah.
So we're like cursed.
Yeah. until we cleanse the space.
How do you think we could cleanse it? Would it be to like kind of re-examine everything that was kind of overlooked?
No, there are spiritual cleansers. You can ask them, you laugh, ask them to come in and get rid of it.
What do spiritual cleansers do?
I don't know. Do some research. There are. It's not like Catholic exorcism, but it's recognizing that places hold
Mr.
things.
Mr. Waltz.
What are you talking
Wiltz said that there was a ghost, and that we should ask.
Who said that?
Mr. Wiltz. Matt Wiltz.
Yeah, I know. He's the head of the communications. He's been here all the time.
He said we should ask around about a ghost.
No,
So then,
I think he made that up.
He said ghost ...
He's like, P.S. You may want to ask around
about the ghost.
Never heard of it. I would have heard of it.
Are you covering something up?
I'm not. I wish. If I had heard about it or had experienced it, I would tell you.
Have you ever heard about the theater seat rumor?
No.
Or like it's a theater stage.
No.
You don't know about it at all?
No.
Ooh.
Well, apparently, like a student or someone got like crushed beneath like the ditch. You know how like
Yeah, I do.
kind of
Wait,
buildings?
like crushed to death?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Neil, who's in charge of stagecraft, kind of like says that to the students, for kind of for them to be more careful and stuff, I think. But then there's like a lot of split opinion on whether it's actually true or not.
It is not true.
Not true.
No. I don't think if that had actually happened, I don't think we'd be giving kids electric saws to use in there. I think we'd be banned
But
from doing
what if
anything.
they're covering it up?
I love that you think that.
Should we ask? Do you recommend anyone we could ask about information?
Everybody's gone. Ask.
Okay.
He might know something.
Okay.
You might have seen some things.
He might have seen this. He might have seen it. You know, a student here.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that side, and he might have heard, because I've never been a student here. So there could be that. I would go ask him. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry. I got nothing.
So we just interviewed Miss Krauth. Even though we didn't get much out of it, she did tell us to interview, and she does have like speculation that there is like a negative energy that is surrounding ASIJ. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's kind of hard to validate because we don't have that like sixth sense that Miss Krauth has, so we can't really sense any negative energy. But then I think it's pretty interesting, but it's kind of hard to investigate and doesn't really qualify as the conspiracy theory that we're really going after. So I think interviewing would be the next step.
Do you think ASIJ needs a cleansing? Like, do we need to hire cleansers?
I mean, like, sure, bruh. If it contributes to more positive energy and aura in the school, then I guess.
Right before we left, she pointed us to someone else. A former student from ASIJ who knows the school inside and out, and if there's a ghost or anything else hidden at ASIJ, he might be the one who knows.
Mike Jeff, Yuma was very, very hardworking and no, he wasn't. Him and Luca were very noisy.
What's your name? Do you consent to being interviewed?
Sure.
Do you want to stay anonymous, just in case?
Sure.
Okay. So then, as we said before, we interviewed Miss Krauth previously.
Okay.
And she said we should ask you just because you were a student previously and you've had like a lot of experience at ASIJ.
Sure.
and we asked her about this story about a student being crushed under the theater seats or deck or something. And she said she didn't hear anything about that. And then we asked her another thing that Mr. Wills told us about, like a ghost at ASIJ. And just anything about like any suspicions or rumors that, going around here or that has been here.
The truth is, I have never heard that ever before. Not even as a rumor. So I guess the theater was much older before they rebuilt it. So I am not aware of those two rumors. Hontoni, like the truth.
Anything about ghosts?
Not that I know of.
How about like anything like other than that you kind of find like, I don't know, like, mysterious or...
Mysterious? Maybe this is like a boring interviewee, but I have nothing. I've been to be honest, I was here from 9 student, sophomore to senior, and then I came back in 9 as a. So I've been here 28, and in my 28 years, we went through 9/11, and I don't know if this is like, it's not a rumor. I mean, it was like the fences were much lower. There was no front gate. There was no front guard. People could go in and out as they wish. So it was overnight that 9/11 changed all that. So, but that's not like what you're looking for. It's not like, oh, Toshi Densetsu.
This Ralph believes that because the whole middle school 6th grade incident, what was his name?
Like when the guy was grooming you.
Yeah, the teacher that was grooming, like.
Oh, yeah.
She thinks that there's like a bad, negative, like, aura or energy that surrounds the school just because we didn't do anything, or we haven't like cleansed the school because of it.
I have nothing to say about that. That's not me. So I'm aware of ASIJ's past. I don't have any scientific validity in connecting that to something that's or that's not me. So I don't know. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not that interesting. Come on,
Do you have anyone that we could interview?
If you talk about the theater, why don't you go talk to Mr. Neal? Because he's been around for a long time. He knows about the theater a lot more than I do. You can also interview Ty Dirksey. Ty Dirksey's been around for a long time. He also knows about the theater, so he might have more insights into if you build it, he will come. I don't know. I haven't seen ghosts lately.
So we just interviewed. Lucky didn't get anything out of that. It was lucky funny that he called you a bad student though.
Dude, you're exposing him. The feds, they're gonna uncover the beefing.
You wanted to stay anonymous too, so I have to beep.
No, because
I'm gonna say his name right here. Ready?
A while plus, like a teacher I had in the past. People are just gonna.
You think the feds that listen to this podcast are gonna investigate your teacher?
Yes, man.
Yeah, but they're also gonna just think it's Miss Crowell.
Oh,
wait, ready? Watch this. Ready?
We had one more interview lined up, one that just might unlock the secrets of ASIJ. Mr. Wills, a longtime veteran and the school's communications operator, seemed like the perfect person to turn to. With his deep knowledge of campus life and front row seats to its hidden corners, we reached out for an interview. He kindly agreed.
What's your name?
My name is Matt Wills. I'm the Director of Communications.
You've been at the school for a while now, I'm assuming, and apparently you know like a lot of details about ASIJ.
So I've been at the school since 2001, and part of my role here, I oversee the archive, which is what's behind you in the office here. So we have documentation going back to 1902 when the school was founded. So I'm probably the person who knows the school history the best right now.
Off our previous interviews, we haven't really gotten anything from neither Miss Krauth or but you told us something about a ghost in the email. So
yeah, so there have been stories of a ghost being seen in the high school building, particularly kind of the end of the building down by the theater, the choir room, band room area. You know, there's that kind of staircase that goes up the back there. So I have heard from other people that there is supposedly I think it's a little boy who appears sometimes there. Um, I I think if you ask around a couple of other old time people who've been here for a while, they might have a lead on somebody who's actually supposedly allegedly seen it.
You mentioned someone that works at the. What was her name?
Yeah, I miss. She was mentioning the other day that she knew somebody. I think it's one of the bus drivers or maybe a security guard who'd seen something. I think if you ask Mr. Neil, he might know something. But yeah, I would ask around a little bit more. I haven't personally encountered the ghost, but that is the rumor.
Do you believe in ghosts or other like superstitious?
I've definitely been to places where there's been kind of a weird energy or like an icky kind of feeling. I haven't encountered any ghosts myself, but certainly I think there's often a place can have a weird kind of vibe.
When we interviewed Ms. Krauth, she
Yeah.
believes that ASIJ might have some sort of like negative energy still surrounding it just because the whole middle school teacher, I guess like situation regarding like him bringing like girls, and then since ASIJ never like cleansed, I guess, then she believes that there's some sort of negative energy around the school possibly.
Interesting.
Do you get that same kind of feeling or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think, ASIJ has a long history, and I think there's been, lots of things have happened over the years, both positive and negative. And I think, I think this campus, was built in the 1960s on kind of, almost like farmland kind of edge of what used to be the ICU campus. So, I don't think it's like Poltergeist where we're built on some like old cemetery or anything where there's negative energy coming up. I think probably, it's, we're lucky in, I think, the fact that we have this big open wide campus that, is we built from the scratch so that there should be a fairly positive place, I think.
Yuma, we started this because Yuma heard a rumor about a kid being crushed in like the theater bleachers. So do you think, you said since this little boy ghost was near that area?
I don't think, no. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, nobody has been killed in the theater. That theater was built in around 2005-06. So it's coming up for about 20 years since it was built. I think if somebody had been crushed to death in there, Mr. Neil and I would know. And to the best of my knowledge, that hasn't happened. So I don't think that's where I think the ghost thing predates.
Oh, really?
I think, because that part of high school, next to the theater was built in 1963-64. So, that end of doing it. So that part of the high school is from when the campus was originally built. So it goes back a long way, but, to the best of my knowledge, no student has died on campus during the 60 plus years we've been here.
Why do you think this rumor kind of originated?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of unusual to have a space like the theater where you've got moving parts, like, the seats all go back into the wall, the orchestra pit goes up and down. So I could see like somebody joking around like, oh, somebody could get crushed in that. I think, obviously we take safety precautions that doesn't happen, but, it's possible maybe it was an exaggeration. Maybe, somebody was somewhere they shouldn't have been, and, somebody's like, oh, move, you're going to get crushed, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think it's true, that it happened, but you can kind of see why somebody might suggest it.
Do you have anyone else you think we should interview? Just regarding the ghost or any other?
um,
Have you heard of any other like stories outside the ghost and of any like kind of like superstitious events?
I mean, there's the superstition that if you rub the nose of the plaque in the library before a test, then you'll do well in the test.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that started, but if you go in the library, you can see like a plaque of Frederick Harris, who was the high school principal, and so he has a very shiny nose where generations of people have rubbed him for good luck. That's kind of the only real kind of superstition that I've heard of. You could try. There's a few other alums from the class of '90 who work at the school, in addition to. So, Mrs. Krisha, who works in the Mustang Market, she graduated in 1990, and Yasu Nakayoshi, who's the maintenance manager, he's also class of '90. So, like, you could ask them. They may remember stuff from when they were in school, like what kind of the superstition or the rumor was at that time. They might be good. Trying to think. I don't know. As far as the ghost goes, I think Mrs. is probably going to be your best lead on who's actually seen it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is post Mr. Wills interview. It was quite crazy.
Yeah, I think we got like a lot of valuable information, especially because like the theater rumor was like so like hidden, no one knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he completely kind of just rejected it, right? But
Yeah.
then he gave us like
Well, the thing is, like, no
direction.
one even knows about the theater rumor, though.
Yeah, but then out of the people that I knew, which was Mr. Will, it's like he just said it wasn't true.
Yeah, but I mean, we did get like the most valuable piece of information so far, which is he told us about the little boy.
Yes, the little boy gives another direction and move on,
Brad, do you believe in that little boy?
I mean, like, Mr. Wiltz doesn't look like the person to like lie with. You know what I mean?
What do you think that little boy does?
Dude,
Mr. Wills just says he lurks around.
Dude, like, I'm intrigued. I want to like find out more about it. You know what I mean?
Following the interview with Mr. Wiltz, a new pattern began to emerge. Both and Wiltz independently pointed us in the same direction, toward the theater department. Specifically, to Mr. Neal, the head of stagecraft, and someone deeply familiar with one of the most rumored locations on campus. To explore the ghost story further, we met with Mr. Neal.
Can I get your name, please?
My name is David Neal.
Do you consent to being interviewed right now?
I do.
Do you want to stay anonymous just in case, or?
No.
So basically, just to run down on our podcast, we're investigating basically mysteries around ASIJ, like conspiracies and like rumors.
Yeah.
And the first rumor we heard about was obviously like the theater stage one that you sent this video about.
Yeah.
Which is honestly interesting because the movie was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we watched it. It was pretty good.
Thank you. I agree. That was a good movie. Yeah.
We were wondering just how would a rumor like that start from like a clip from like obviously a movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's like anything else. People see something and then they talk about it to the friends who didn't see something, who talk about it to their friends who didn't see or know that somebody saw it. And before you know it, nobody remembers who started it. And then it's a rumor.
What did you hear something about? the instructions.
Instruction?
Like he gives out instructions. Before.
Oh, someone told me that, like, I don't know if this is true, but that you tell your stagecraft kids, like, this story as like a kind of like a precaution,
Which story?
like the theater crushing. I might have misheard, but
You mean about the stage?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I've
No, you
never
never
told
said
that to my students ever.
that was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Mr. Wills we told him about that story,
Mm.
and then just everyone else just never heard of it. So then,
Yeah.
I think obviously that's just a fake rumor.
It totally is. I helped build this theater. Like I helped design it, and I was here for the construction. I've been here 100% of the time, and not only has nobody ever been crushed, nobody's even been partially injured.
But Mr. Wills did tell us that around this theater area, nothing really related to that incident, but apparently there's been sightings of like a little boy ghost around this area. We just wanted to know if that was true or not.
That's not true. All theaters have a ghost. That's sort of a theater tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Our ghost is called Guthrie, and yeah,
The movie, right?
that's yes. Our ghost Guthrie existed in our lore before we put him into the movie.
Mm.
But yeah,
could you further elaborate on what that means?
What means?
Like a theater ghost, like what was?
Well, I mean, if you're around a theater long enough, there are things that happen that are not immediately explainable. And so I think a lot of people that work in the theater are superstitious. And so things get blamed on the ghost.
Oh, I see. And then, do you know about this rumor about like the little boy, or this is the first time you've heard?
I've never heard anything about a little boy ghost. No.
That's interesting.
And I'm here all the time. I mean, I like during the plays, I work sometimes 16 hours a day. So I'm here from early morning till late night. And I've never seen a little boy ghost.
And you've never even heard of this?
And I've never heard of anybody talking about a little boy ghost. I know about Guthrie, but not a little boy ghost. No, I've never heard that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, we just talked to Mr. Neal, and at this point, we just don't believe in the theater rumor, just because he also, in the email he sent us, a video clip of a movie they made in middle school back like 10 years ago or so. And it was just a video clip about like it was a video clip of a student being like crushed.
The movie.
It was a
right?
movie.
Yeah,
It was actually quite good.
Actually, so it was like a student-made movie.
Yeah.
Right, by middle schoolers.
What did you think about the movie?
I mean, like, it's all fictional.
Yeah.
But the fact that like the rumor originated from just like a little movie, I think is really interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do
you think that's why a lot of things are saying like confidential, just because rumors like that spread off like?
Yeah. Okay.
No, but what do you think about that movie though?
Be like, bruh, it was really nerve-wracking because like the little girl was being bullied into like the ditch part, and then it was also educational because I didn't really understand like how exactly like the student can get crushed.
But
like, dude, when the safety button
didn't work, bro. I was hella scared.
Then the guy came in opening the door.
Bro, I don't know why we don't make movies like that anymore. It's actually a shame.
Yeah, we fell off. The movie industry must be revived at ASIJ. But anyways, like in the movie, there's also writing on the wall that said Guthrie, right?
Guthrie, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mr. Neal told
us about that, saying that's kind of like a theater kid thing, right? Like the theater crew thing, where when they don't have anything to explain, like an activity, they kind of just like say, "Oh, it's Guthrie" or something.
Do you think it's like symbolic, or did you actually think Guthrie is like a real ghost? Or
well, in the movie they said, I don't know if it's true, but they said it was a past like scientist or something, or someone who built the theater or something along those lines. And I mean, if that's true,
Mr. Neal also said that he didn't believe in
like he didn't know anything about the little boy that lurks around the theater,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I thought like probably out of
He's
anyone
completely
he would probably know.
refuting that idea as well.
Yeah.
Pretty stubbornly.
Yeah, I think like Miss Krauth, he's covering something up, but you know, you never know. Just because like we gotta keep things confidential.
Yeah.
After reviewing our conversation with Mr. Neal, it was clear that while the ghost story and the theater rumor might overlap in setting, there was still no concrete connection, only speculation. But earlier in our investigation, Mr. Wills had pointed us towards someone who might have more than just secondhand information. He mentioned Miss. Unlike the others, she wasn't just aware of the rumors, she reportedly knows people who have actually seen the ghost. If that was true, this could be the closest we've come to a first-hand account. So, we followed the lead. What's your name?
My name is Mr.
Do you consent to being interviewed right now?
Yes.
Do you want to stay anonymous just in case, or?
Yeah, maybe.
So basically, our podcast is about just rumors and conspiracies that are surrounding ASIJ,
Uh-huh.
and we heard your name come up from Mr. Wills.
Yeah, so like we initially interviewed Mr. Wilts about like the rumor around like a student being crushed underneath like a theater stage. And while he did like say that was untrue, he like also mentioned like a ghost sighting.
Yes. So I don't know about the crushing incident. I haven't heard that rumor. But, and I haven't had any ghostly experiences myself. However, some very, uh, there's people here that I find to be reliable people have mentioned they have experienced like a ghostly experience, and it's always the same story, which is why it's kind of interesting. Um, about, and these are people from a while ago who told me that they have seen like what they say a little boy ghost, and it's usually in the theater for some reason, around the theater area. And also, one person did tell me once they saw him in the parking lot too, at night. And so it's always a little boy, and he's just running around. Maybe he's just playing. So I don't know. Um, and I have, like I said, I never heard of the crushing incident that Mr. Wills heard of.
We just interviewed Mr. Neal, actually. Apparently he's never heard about this little boy. He's like really
Oh, yeah.
confident that like it doesn't exist or anything like that.
Oh, that's not what he told me at the lunch table the other day. Well, he probably didn't know about a little boy, but he's heard about ghostly experiences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that part's probably true, yeah. But also, I had a teacher tell me once, and this has nothing to do with the boy ghost or anything, but they were really frightened because they were at work and working late at night, and they were in their classroom when suddenly the landline phone started ringing, and he said it was really weird because no one calls at that time, and when he picked up, he said there was a really scary voice that was like, whoa, something like that. Just a scary sound. It scared him so much that he just quit working that night and went home. But he was so frightened that he was, really reporting this. So.
And you said this teacher doesn't work here anymore?
Actually, they do. But I don't think they'd be willing to tell the story.
Really?
I don't think so.
We could bleep out their name.
Huh?
We could bleep out their name.
I don't know. I can ask, but
you said that everyone had like a similar story hearing about this ghost. Can we know what that similar story is?
Well, the similar story is just being of a little boy.
Like
one person told me that they saw it in the parking lot area. Another has told me that there's a couple of them that said they'd seen it in the theater area. Yeah.
It's a common, like, do they all have like a common appearance, or like?
All they just describe it as a little boy, so that's it. Yeah.
But that's pretty like scary.
Yeah, it's kind of consistent. Yeah.
Were these all like around the same time, or was it like spread?
Yeah, I haven't heard any stories for like over 10 years, I would say, or maybe more, maybe longer. Yeah. But I used to hear it more often, so I don't know if there's still a ghost here, but in those days it seemed like people were having those kind of.
So it was like the time frame around like
around the Yeah, well, and there's some from even way back too.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Do you know those people? You said most of those people, like, do they still work here, or
one of them.
one of them?
Yeah.
Do you think he would consent just because we need?
I can ask. I can ask. I can ask.
Thank you.
But other than that, there was some cleaners who used to tell me that, but that was a long time. Bus drivers, a long time ago.
Like the same little boy, or like
Yeah, well, it's just a ghost, a ghostly experience with a little boy ghost. Yeah, it's always a kid. Yeah.
Was it a bus driver that told you about the parking lot incident, or?
Former.
so like this consistency kind of like makes you believe it might be true. But, like,
Yeah, because like I said, the people that told me aren't people that I consider would fabricate anything. Yeah, they were. Yeah, and some of them told me they have like a sixth sense. They say they kind of got silly. Yeah. So, and I must not have that sense because I've worked here 30-something years and I've never experienced anything. So,
From what you heard, do you think it's like an evil spirit, or is it just kind of just there?
no, the child ghosts. Well, I don't think so. I think it's just here and just playing around and running and not doing anything. I don't think it's scary. It doesn't seem like it's a scary experience. Where the phone thing though was kind of odd, but I don't know that teacher. But he was genuinely scared.
Wow.
and he's not the type of person that would like.
Well, he usually is. He does, but in this incident, no, he wasn't kidding. Yeah, he was really scared. Yeah.
Do you believe like this kind of like superstition or like paranormal activity that makes school experience more interesting, or like?
I do personally, but I don't know if anybody else does. And like I said, I don't want to scare people, and and like I said, the people who experienced it said it wasn't scary. It was just what it is. Yeah.
Can you also just elaborate on the Hanako Sana?
Oh yeah, there was a this was just only like 2 or 3 years ago. We were, you know how kids like spread rumors, so they were spreading rumors that there was. They must have saw like Hanako-san story from TV or something, and then they were spreading rumors that she exists in one of our bathrooms, and then the kids were afraid to go to the bathroom and things like that. So, yeah, so it was a big thing, and we were dealing with parents who were, filing complaints that kids were doing this. Yeah.
But like this case is kind of different from that.
Oh yeah, it's very different, and then it never went out into the student population.
So this is kept pretty like
It's just a, like you said, like a conspiracy. Well, not a conspiracy, but a thing that some people at school knew about.
And by around the theater, do you mean like the hallway, or like?
No, like in the basement part, the when you go down the stairs, that spiral. Like, around that area.
Okay.
That's what I heard. But then I had someone who said they had a sighting out in the parking lot too. So, yeah.
Thank you. We just got the most valuable interview yet from.
Like the fact that she was so like she looked excited explaining
No, oh god,
her side of the story.
No, she was also hella scared. Like I was lucky pressing her because like I needed her to tell me. I needed her to tell me who like she heard this ghost story from, but she was hella scared. Like apparently the guy or like the girl or whatever is hella scared of like he would talk about the ghost, bro. Like isn't that crazy?
Or maybe it's just like the person's embarrassed to say like that they were actually scared by like the phone call or like by the.
Wait, the person she wanted to keep anonymous, was that the phone call or the little boy one? I thought it was just the little boy. Because if it's just the little boy, I don't think.
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just a little boy.
Because if it's the little boy, she said that like it wasn't evil or anything, just because this is playing around. But the telephone boy, that's another episode.
That's for like later investigations, I think.
What do you think about this little boy though? Do you believe him? I look at like after
the fact that like it's so consistent, like so many people have seen him, like kind of like in the campus, makes me think it's true. Like especially like since Miss
Can you stop saying her name? I have to bleep out every time you say her name.
Especially since Miss said that
like these people were like genuine, sincere people that wouldn't kind of like spread like a false rumor or anything just to like scare or do whatever, like for whatever reason. So
yeah, no, the fact that she believes it like hella is actually a lot. No, I also think just the fact that the stories are so consistent. I think you said this before, but it's so consistent between all of them that he's in the theater and it's a little boy. I mean, before this interview, I low-key didn't believe it, but like now it's like what do you think?
I mean, like it has to be true, bruh. Like that's what we're here for.
No, oh god, it has to be true, bruh.
We're either busting this myth or we're just going with it. But I think we should go with it because
one of the most valuable things she did tell us though is that it was within the same time frame. So like she hasn't heard about it in like a decade.
Yeah.
But then also if she clutches up and somehow gets us that interview with the person that that said they saw this ghost, I think it's like case closed now.
Yeah. That's just like first-hand experience, right? Because Miss didn't actually see the ghost herself. Rather, she just heard like stories around her.
So what do you think about the fact that she told us that Mr. Neal told her about like a ghost during lunch, like this past week? But then when we interviewed Mr. Neal about any ghost, he was like,
well, I think it's because while we were interviewing Mr. Neal, we're talking about a little boy, and we're kind of deviating from like more like paranormal activity rather than like so I mean there could be like a misunderstanding on that part.
That's true.
But Miss said that Mr. Neal was talking about some ghosts, right? Which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Intrigued by the story of the ghost, decided to visit the hallway where the ghost lurks.
Hello. Currently, me and Yuma are at the spot that anonymous source told us that the ghost lurks. What do you think about this place? It's quite creepy.
I think Mr. Wiltz also said that this is where the little boy was spotted by some people, and it honestly gives a very creepy feeling. It kind of reminds me of the back rooms.
Our anonymous source also told us that a little boy was spotted in a parking lot. We don't know if that's the parking lot by the bus turnaround, but at the spot we are currently at is by the middle school field where a lot of parents like to park their cars.
Yeah, but like, that was a while ago, and I don't think this was used as a parking lot. Also, this has been renovated.
Yuma, on the way here, you got an email from our anonymous source. Do you want to read it out loud?
Okay, so, while me and Tyler were investigating the spot, I got another email, or follow-up email, by the anonymous source saying that they have contacted another staff member who has information around a ghost, which is not related to the little boy. And so, we will investigate this further. But anyways, while we're here, we're kind of just walking down the staircases, kind of getting a general image of how the little boy was spotted. And to be honest,
Yuma got physical chills. I saw Yuma get chills while you read the email out loud.
This really is very creepy.
I think we've gotten in too deep.
There's no one here. It's fairly like deserted, and
I could see a little
leave right now. Let's get
out of here because I could actually see a little boy being here because he's by a soccer field.
We also realized that while we thought the interviews that gave us no information were unproductive, but rather revealed how even the teachers who have been here for the longest time do not know of this story, reinforcing the confidentiality of the little boy. So myth busted? Maybe, maybe not.
The ghost may not have revealed itself, but what we found was even more interesting. How rumors, silence, and stories shape what we believe.
Before we wrapped, Miss gave us one last surprise. She told us about a different ghost, a woman, who supposedly messed with a teacher's phone after hours.
That teacher wanted to stay anonymous, but Miss helped set up a possible interview. We didn't have time to include it here, but it might just lead our next episode.
Special thanks to everyone who helped make this episode possible. Ms. Kathy Krauth, Mr. Neil, Ms. and Mr. Wills for sharing their time, memories, and insight.
And a huge shout out to Power Factory Music on YouTube for the track you're listening to right now.
In the next episode, we investigate a new lead on an anonymous teacher who claims a ghost has been messing with their phone after hours. Is it real, or is it just a glitch?
We'll find out soon, so stay tuned.
This was the Mustang Archives.